For the past week or so, I've been extensively testing the Pixel 6a and the Nothing Phone 1 side by side. Now, these are two phones with clean stock Android, a premium hardware experience, and a lot of controversy surrounding them. Let's dissect these two devices figuratively, of course, because the literal dissecting, I leave it to the experts like Zach from Jerry Rig Everything, and find out how these two fare against each other. If you don't know me yet, I'm Ashar. You're watching Track It Take English.
Let the battle begin.
For this review, I'll address each comparison point like the design, the display, the performance, all of those things by talking about and addressing the issues with these devices first. Starting off with that whole fingerprint scanner debacle on the Pixel 6a. Unlike what Geeky Rajit and Bebob experienced,
and this is my fingerprint scanner, fingerprint that I register, only the right thumb. And yes, it unlocks with that one. But if I use any other of my fingers, as you can see, it does not unlock.
The thing is, sometimes the Pixel 6a's fingerprint scanner unlocks with fingers that are not registered.
Our Pixel 6a's fingerprint scanner is definitely slow and unreliable, but it registers only one fingerprint and it unlocks with only my fingerprint, and it didn't work with anyone else that I tried in the office. Having said that, my frustration is completely different, and it is that this one's really slow to unlock compared to the Nothing Phone 1, which is fast and reliable. And while you get facial recognition on the phone 1, you do not on the Pixel 6a. But yes, the facial recognition on the phone 1 is spotty, unreliable, and not even secure. So I would suggest you stick to the optical in-display fingerprint scanner. Now, the Nothing Phone 1, of course, has been plagued with a lot of quality control issues. There are two specific problems that have been highlighted by a few users who've already purchased the device. The first one is the fact that some of the units are attracting dust inside the panel itself, and another user actually had condensation or moisture form around the camera module as well. Now, while we didn't face that on our specific units of the Nothing Phone 1, this is a legitimate problem for sure. The quality control issues on the Nothing Phone 1 are being reported widely by a lot of buyers who've actually picked up the phone. Now, thankfully, Nothing is at least addressing these concerns and trying to get a replacement unit. But then again, even that's a struggle considering that even a lot of the pre-orders haven't been fulfilled yet. Now, Nothing says that it's a complex phone to make, and that is causing the delays, and that's causing some of the issues as well. But I think that the company wasn't really prepared and was probably underprepared for the kind of uptake that it'll have with these devices. While Nothing might have been underprepared, we are really prepared to take as many subscribers as we can. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and maybe even the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever we put out an awesome new phone, laptop, gadget video. And of course, hit the like button and maybe even comment below for the sake of the YouTube algorithm. Now, while you're on the topic of the build quality, the quality control issues, the phone itself does look very beautiful with this transparent back and glyph interface. I've said that time and again in all of the Nothing Phone 1 videos that I've made. Plus, for the construction of the phone, you get Gorilla Glass 5 on the back, Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, and you get an aluminium mid-frame as well. In comparison, the Pixel 6a with its two-toned finish actually has a plastic back on the rear and an aluminium mid-frame. The problem with this plastic back is that the scratches are already showing even on our unit, especially at the bottom. You will need to use this phone with the case. In fact, you'll also need to use this phone with a case, which is a very expensive case that Nothing is selling, and there seems to be very few cases in the market right now. So that's another problem with this. Pixel might get more cases and accessories compared to the Nothing Phone 1. But it goes without saying that both these phones are built like premium flagship devices, and there are tight tolerances and good symmetry everywhere. However, the Pixel 6a has one huge advantage and one great flagship level feature, and that's the fact that it supports IP67 rating compared to IP53 on the Nothing Phone 1. IP67 is definitely better. You can dunk this phone in water. You can just have splashes of water falling on this phone. That's only the kind of protection that you get on the Nothing Phone 1. Now, the Nothing Phone 1 is also bigger, thicker, and heavier. That's also because the Nothing Phone 1 has a bigger display compared to the Pixel 6a. Now, what size you like will depend on your personal preference. Now, talking about the displays on these phones, and there are a bunch of problems to address. The Pixel 6a's display comes with a 60 Hz refresh rate, and is that a problem in daily usage? Oh yes, absolutely yes. The Nothing Phone 1 with its 120Hz refresh rate panel feels incredibly smooth to use compared to the Pixel 6a 60Hz panel. After using the Pixel 6a for about 3-4 days, I couldn't wait to go back to the Nothing Phone 1 because I was craving for that smoothness. And this is actually a feature that you have to use it and experience it to want it, on your phone as well. But if you're someone who thinks that I'd rather have a 60Hz panel and better battery life, which of course is true, then the Nothing Phone 1 has the option to switch down the display resolution to 60Hz as well. So to have a better option is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Now, what about the green tint issue on the Nothing Phone 1's OLED panel? Our unit doesn't have that problem, and that's generally a problem with most mid-range devices where there's again quality control issues with AMOLED panels. We've seen that happen on a lot of phones in the past. So if your phone has that green tint problem and if it affects you, then please get it replaced. Now, the Pixel 6a display has this rainbowing effect when you see at an angle, but that's again generally a case with many AMOLED displays, so that's not really a concern for me as such. What matters more is the actual quality of the panel when you're watching HDR videos on these phones. And you know what? I saw like a couple of YouTube videos in HDR on both the phones side by side, and I couldn't really tell the difference. The kind of color reproduction, the kind of dynamic range that you get, the way the dynamic range is tuned on these panels are almost nearly identical. But the Pixel 6a definitely has an ace up its sleeve with the fact that you get support for HDR on Netflix, which is not available on the Nothing Phone 1. I hope that Nothing can really work with Netflix to give you that feature. And to close out that whole multimedia experience, both these phones have stereo speakers. The Pixel 6a definitely sounds more rich, dynamic, and very flagship grade compared to the Nothing Phone 1. Take a listen for yourself. And when it comes to headphone and IEM performance through Type-C dongles, because both these phones don't have a headphone jack, both are actually equally placed, and I think that they do sound very similar and really good on earphones through these Type-C jacks. Now, to know that which one of these two phones has the better set of cameras, I'd suggest that you go and watch our detailed comparison. A link should pop up right now. But the crux of the matter is that the Pixel 6a is better than the Nothing Phone 1 in almost every single situation. The Nothing Phone 1 is only sharper in daylight shots. That's the only advantage on it. And the Phone 1, of course, is much cheaper than the Pixel 6a. So for that price, the performance is okay. But the Pixel 6a's cameras are definitely better. Anyway, go and watch that video for all the details on camera performance. I'm just keeping this part very light. Now, what about the performance? Well, the Google Pixel 6a has, the custom Tensor chip, and it's a custom chip that is made in Samsung's foundry, and it is very similar to the Exynos 2100, and therefore the performance is also very similar to the Exynos 2100. This phone throttles a lot, and it also does get hot. In fact, I was really surprised that the sides got warm and kind of hot even when I was swiping through Instagram Reels, and that's not really a great experience. Now, the Snapdragon 778G Plus inside the Nothing Phone 1 is definitely not as powerful as the Google Tensor chip, but it is definitely more reliable and doesn't throttle as much. Just that the GPU on the Pixel 6a's Tensor chip will offer better fidelity for exactly 10 minutes. But performance of the Tensor chip is one part of the problem. The Pixel 6a is replete with bugs. So many bugs. It's not like the Nothing Phone 1 doesn't have bugs, but the situation is way worse on the Android 12 implementation in Pixel 6a. The thing with bugs is that you cannot really capture them at the time it's happening, but I have a few screenshots for you and they're flashing on your screen right now. Just apps overlaying over other apps, random stutters, crashes, everything was happening on this Pixel 6a unit that I have. Now, when I tweeted about this, a lot of folks said that, the Android 13 beta has fixed a lot of the problems with Android 12, which is of course unreliable. But you know what? I can't really evaluate or review a product based on beta software now, can I? Android 12 is what you will get when you buy the phone right now, and bugs will be a part of the equation too. At the risk of attracting the anger of Pixel fans, the experience that they talk about or the experience that they keep playing up, that was a part of the whole problem. The 60Hz refresh rate panel is least of its issues. That said, since we're on the topic of software, the Pixel 6a will be the first phone to get Android updates for 3 years, no less, and of course you'll get 5 years of security updates as well. As for the Nothing Phone 1, it's 3 years of OS updates and 4 years of security updates. Now, when it comes to the software, by the way, the Nothing Phone 1 has a few embellishments in the form of that glyph interface, enlarged icons, the fact that you can add icon packs, all of those things. So it's a little tweaked, not too much, but it's very similar to the stock Android experience that you get on the Pixel 6a. Now, talking about the battery life, I was slightly disappointed by the fact that the Nothing Phone 1's battery life has kind of taken a hit after the latest update. Earlier, I used to get about 7 hours to 8 hours of screen on time. Now I'm getting only 5 to 6 hours, which is definitely not a good thing. Now, the Pixel 6a also gives you 5 to 6 hours of battery life, and therefore, they're all on the same path. Maybe you will get better battery life when you switch to 60 Hz refresh rate on the Nothing Phone 1. I was using it for 120 Hz every single day of my life, and therefore, the Nothing Phone 1's battery life could be better than the Pixel 6a. But then again, that shouldn't really be the case. It should be better with the 778G Plus and 120 Hz. It should by default be better than the Pixel 6a, which it's not really. That said, the Nothing Phone 1 does support wireless charging, which is not available on the Pixel 6a, and it has faster 33-watt charging speeds compared to the 18-watt charging speeds on the Pixel 6a. In our testing, it took 2 hours to charge the Pixel 6a from 0 to 100, but it took an hour and 8 minutes on the Nothing Phone 1. Of course, that's quite a difference. By the way, I used the stuff called GAN charger, 65-watt GAN charger for the sake of the review, and you will have to buy a charger separately because both these phones don't come with a charger inside the box. Now, the Pixel 6a's biggest problem is the under-optimized software experience. Otherwise, it's a great phone with a very powerful chip this time around compared to the Snapdragon 730, which was there inside the Pixel 4a, which came last to India. And of course, the camera performance is fantastic in this price range, probably the best as well. In comparison, the Nothing Phone 1 is a fast, smooth, stock Android experience with a cool little design, and it is appropriately priced for what it is offering right now, I feel. Now, the Pixel 6a is definitely expensive in India, and I would suggest that you pick up the phone around, the later part of the year, around the Diwali sales, where it could possibly get discounted even further. And by that time, maybe even Android 13 will come and fix a lot of the issues. So that would be the right time to probably buy the Pixel 6a, definitely not at launch. Similarly, with the Nothing Phone 1, it's a bit of a leap of faith that you have to take with a new brand. So that's something that you have to keep in mind as well, because there are those quality control issues happening, delivery is not happening on time, all of those issues are still persisting. So yeah, neither of these two phones are perfect at the moment, but I feel that the Nothing Phone 1 is a better bet because it's also cheaper. Do you think otherwise? Do let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, this is Ershad signing off. Keep tracking and stay safe.